He fought a war for 10 years. It took him 10 more just to find his way home. By the time he walked through his own front door, his son didn't recognize his face. This is the story of the man the gods refused to let go home. 10 years earlier, the war for Troy finally ended, not by strength, but by a trick hidden inside a wooden horse. It was his idea, his victory. But the gods do not forgive men who outsmart them. As his ships turned toward home, one god was already deciding he would never get there easily. His name was Odysseus, and his real journey hadn't even begun. "12 ships. A crew of hardened warriors who thought the worst was behind them. Their first stop was a mistake. A raid on the Tsakones that should have taken an hour. It cost them nearly a full day, and the first of many men. Odysseus wanted to leave. His men wanted more plunder. That single decision would echo across the next 10 years. Next came an island that didn't attack them with weapons. It attacked them with peace. A strange fruit that erased memory, erased longing, erased the will to ever leave. Some of his men ate it, and in an instant they forgot they even had a home to return to. Odysseus had to drag his own men back to the ships in chains. Men who were sobbing, begging to stay. Then came the cave that changed everything. A one-eyed giant, son of the sea god Poseidon himself, trapped them inside his home and began eating his crew 2 at a time. Odysseus's escape plan was brilliant. Blind the giant, hide beneath his sheep, slip out at dawn. It worked. But in his pride, sailing away safely, Odysseus turned back and shouted his own name to the giant he'd just blinded. That one boast reached Poseidon, and Poseidon swore that Odysseus would lose everything. His men, his ships, his years, before he ever saw home again. The king of the winds handed Odysseus a gift. Every dangerous storm sealed inside a leather bag, so his voyage home would be nothing but calm seas. They sailed for 9 days. Ithaca came into view. So close his men could see the smoke from their own home's chimneys. Then, while Odysseus finally slept, his own crew opened the bag, convinced it was hidden treasure. The winds exploded out all at once and blew them backward across the entire sea they had just crossed. Desperate now, they found a harbor that looked safe. It was a trap. Giant cannibals hurled boulders the size of houses down onto the fleet, crushing ship after ship. Of 12 ships that left Troy, 11 were destroyed in minutes. Only Odysseus's own ship escaped. On the next island, a beautiful sorceress welcomed his men with a feast and turned every one of them into pigs. Odysseus, protected by a herb given to him by the god Hermes, was the only one immune. He confronted her, blade drawn. And Circe, stunned that a mortal could resist her, surrendered instead of fighting. He would stay on her island for a full year. Some say it was captivity, some say, for the first time in years, it was rest. Circe gave him one final instruction before he could leave. Sail to the edge of the world and speak with the dead. There, in the gray, nothing beyond the living world, Odysseus met the ghost of a blind prophet who warned him of the dangers still ahead. And then he met his own mother, who had died of grief, waiting for a son who never came home. He reached for her 3 times. 3 times, his arms passed through nothing but mist. Next came a stretch of sea no sailor had ever survived twice. First, the sirens, whose song promised every secret of the universe and killed every man who swam toward it. Odysseus had his men bind him to the mast, wax sealed in their own ears, so he could hear the song and survive it. Then came the final impossible choice, Scylla, a six-headed monster on one side, Charybdis, a whirlpool that swallowed entire ships, on the other. There was no safe path, only which disaster cost less. He chose Scylla. 6 of his men were torn away, screaming his name as he sailed on, and could do nothing. The sea took his last ship. He washed ashore alone, half drowned, on the island of a goddess named Calypso. She saved his life. And then she kept him, not with chains, but with love, comfort, even the offer of immortality itself. 7 years passed, 7 years of a beautiful prison, while a wife and son waited across the sea, not knowing if he was alive or dead. Every night, the storyteller tells us, he sat on the shore and wept, staring at a horizon he could not cross. The gods finally relented. Given one last chance, Odysseus built a raft with his bare hands and set out alone across the open sea. Poseidon, still watching, sent one final storm to try to finish him. He survived, sat barely, washing up naked, broken and unrecognizable on the shore of a foreign kingdom. It was a young princess named Nausicaa who found him, not a warrior, not a king, just a woman, with enough kindness to help, a stranger who looked like nothing at all. The Phaeacians finally gave him what he'd wanted for 20 years, a ship home. But home had changed. Over 100 men had moved into his palace, devouring his food, courting his wife, certain he was dead, and certain his son was too weak to stop them. The goddess Athena disguised him as a beggar so he could walk through his own front door unrecognized and watch. Penelope, his wife, had held off over 100 suitors for years with a single trick. She would remarry, she told them, the moment she finished weaving a burial shroud, then secretly unraveled it every night. Finally cornered, she set one last test. Whoever could string her husband's old war bow and fire an arrow through 12 axe heads could have her hand. One by one, the strongest men in the kingdom tried. One by one, they failed. Then the old beggar in the corner asked for a turn, and the room erupted in laughter. He strung the bow as easily as a musician tunes a lyre. The arrow flew clean through all 12 axe heads. And before the laughter could even fade from the suitors' faces, Odysseus stood, tore off his rags, and the beggar was gone. In his place stood a king who had survived a war, a curse, monsters, and gods, and had absolutely nothing left to lose. What followed was not a fight. It was a reckoning 20 years in the making. Even now, Penelope wouldn't simply believe. 20 years of grief had made her too careful for that. She tested him one final time, describing their marriage bed as something that could be moved. Odysseus, without thinking, corrected her. It couldn't be moved. He had built it himself, around a living olive tree, rooted into the earth. Only her husband could have known that. In that instant, 20 years of distance disappeared. 20 years, one war. Countless monsters. A dozen ships lost to gods who never stopped testing him. He didn't survive the Odyssey because he was the strongest man who ever lived. He survived it because he never stopped trying to get home, even when home had almost forgotten what he looked like. Every man who has ever fought to get back to the people he loves has walked, in some small way, the same road as Odysseus. Every mystery has a story. Every story leaves a rivet. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.